Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by cardsphere.com and we'll take a look at them a little bit later on. So a few months back, I played a Hornstill deck list that I did relatively well with, and Taylor K has donated to have it happen again. So this is my updated, post-banning take on what Hornstill is supposed to look like. Let's take a quick look at what the deck is supposed to do, and then I'll kind of talk about my changes to the deck from the previous versions. Generally speaking, when you play Standstill, you are looking to drag the game on, continue to make land drops, and then win with something that does not require you to actually cast a spell. And in the case of this deck list, we have three things that qualify. We can play a land drop and make Urza Saga construct tokens. We can have something like a Didgeridoo in play before we do that, and that'd go crazy with Minotaurs. More on them in a second. Or we can cycle a Shark Typhoon, say that 10 times fast, cycle a Shark Typhoon, and then create a shark that can kill our opponent. Technically speaking, there is a fourth. We can also activate Currency Converter a bunch of times, but that ends up being a 2/2 rogue every other turn and ends up being pretty slow. So it can be a win condition, and it's just not what we're hoping to do. What we're hoping to do is go doot doot with the Didgeridoo and drop in one of these absolutely fabulous Minotaur creatures that have assorted abilities that dominate combat or perhaps make us extra Minotaurs or buff the Minotaurs that we already do have. Last time around, I was particularly fond of Moraug, who gives you extra combat steps with Landfall, which is real good. As far as changes that I've made to this deck list, I didn't have to make any. Previously, I played 3 Didgeridoos, and I wanted the 4th very badly. The original deck list idea was I could play 3 and then just fetch them up with Urza's Saga after stage 3, but I just wanted to be able to naturally draw this and have games where I just go Didgeridoo and then Ancient Tomb or Chrome Mox and just start activating on turn 2. So that was a change. I added a Tundra to the deck list. Last time around, I couldn't usually cast Boros Battle Shaper, and for the games that went really long versus a grindy control deck, that's an option that I wanted. So we are going to have a single fetchable white source in this deck list. Because previously I was relying on Chrome Moxing a Boros Battle Shaper to get white to cast another one, and that's just not enough. Other than that, I made some tiny changes. One thing that I talked about in my last video is that I wanted Shadow Spear. When this game starts dumping Minotaurs into play, one of the only ways that you can lose is your opponent already just having too large of a threat, and your Minotaurs will probably close the game in roughly 2 or 3 combat steps. And sometimes I just wanted a little something to give me that one last attack step that I need. And I think Shadow Spear as a tutor target is one of the things that I'm going to need in order to accomplish that. I believe I promoted Pithing Needle to the main deck. I think it was in the sideboard last time around. And Soul Guide Lantern got shoved to the sideboard here. My rationale is that if I want to add another 1-drop to the main deck, I should probably cut one of my other Urza Saga tutor targets. So this leaves me with 3 different targets, 4 if you count Chromox, as things that I can get off of Urza Saga. And we've got a good assortment of sideboard cards, most of which honestly are dedicated towards fighting combo, especially if we include the blasts in that category, as well as the graveyard hate. We are hoping that putting a Boros Battle Shaper into play just wins versus a fair, mavericky sort of deck list that is just looking to win the game by attacking and blocking with creatures. We have a small number of cards for that sideboard, for sideboarding in those matches, and a large number of cards for the combo matchups. So with Expressive Iteration leaving the format, Standstill is one of those things that people are sort of talking about as being a way to get your card advantage. So we'll see whether or not some decks like Hornstill or Sharkstill or Landstill, whatever, end up being something reasonable that you can do in this new Legacy format. Am I skeptical? Absolutely. Did I put up really good results with Minotaurs the last time I played it? Bet your ass I did. Let's see if we can run it back again, folks. you're new here and you like what you see, please consider subscribing, and if you're a regular, throw me a like before this video begins. It is the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. Okay. My opening hand has reasonable lands and spells, but I don't think I'm actually going to keep it here. Like, I have these hands that can play something real like an Urza Saga and back it with a Standstill, or play a Didgeridoo and then do something with it. And I don't think I like how that first hand looks. Like, it's reasonable blue stuff, but I'm not really playing this deck as a reasonable blue deck. I don't think I like this either. I'm just going to ship this. Yes. Easily, very easily the best hand here. The one Didgeridoo goes back, and then one of the two red Minotaurs goes back. Knowing my opponent, I'm going to throw back the legend. Oh no, they're both legendary. This one's better if it gets bounced, I suppose. Let's do that. Alright. I will fetch. I'm going to get a basic here. And we're dropping a Didgeridoo. And we're just going to drop a Boros Battle Shaper on turn 2. I'm expecting to be playing against something that resembles the initiative in some capacity. Huh? Okay, yep. Not surprising. I can stop that attacking with Boros Battle Shaper. Okay. Reasonable follow-up draw. I will just go ahead and pass the turn. My opponent can loot. Getting rid of Double Chalice. Seems reasonable. Triggers at the beginning of combat. The haste thing. Whenever you attack, you may sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, get a skeleton with menace. That's fine. Didgeridoo here. Put in a Boros Battle Shaper. I don't want something to must attack or block. I want this to not be able to attack or block. So I deny the treasure token here. Standstill. I don't need anything to attack. Well, actually, I can force a block. Let's force a block there. Make it so you cannot block. Crash in for 5. This just kills a creature for free. Right. Good stuff. We'll call it a turn there. I don't think I have to stand still. I mean, I can, but I'd rather just press my advantage and get my opponent dead. All right, nothing has to attack. Make it so that cannot attack. All right, there's another land drop. End of turn, I will Didgeridoo. Get a Sethron. Is cool. Okay, and that's good enough to get the win there. Boros Battle Shaper is very unfair versus creature-based decks. So I guess my biggest question is, like, how many moon effects is my opponent playing? And how many initiative effects are they playing? I am probably looking at these 3 cards more or less, no matter what. A Pithing Needle is of relatively low use. I'm going to swap that out for Shadow Spear immediately. My standstills aren't great. It's hard for me to be the person that gets ahead when I'm on the draw, and my opponent has so many, like, Soul Land plus Spirit Guide, Soul Land plus Mox hands that can just get them out ahead of me. My blue count gets super low if I drop Standstill and don't do something like bring in Force of Negation. So I want these extra removal spells for sure, just to clean up creatures, because like a Boros Battle Shaper will just beat my opponent if I can get that going. Currency Converter is probably expendable. I think I'm going to pitch 2 Standstills to just get Force of Negations in here, mostly to keep my Force of Will count high enough to be reasonable, and I don't think I'm going to board Aether Spellbomb in. This is a perfectly reasonable hand that I'm going to think about mulliganing. The Ponder's just really awkward. I want to do it off of a basic land, so Blood Moon has less of an effect. Like, all I want to do is just put a Boros Battle Shaper into play and kill my opponent. I don't know that I just want to keep a Force of Will cantrip hand. Like, the plan is just Didgeridoo my opponent. There's protection against Chalice of the Void on 1, or a turn 1 Blood Moon, though. Maybe this is good enough. I'm not happy with it, but maybe this is good enough. Opponent is going to 5, so apparently they have a very specific plan. Alright, we'll see how crazy their 5 is. They're bolting themselves. Spirit Guide, Chalice on 1. That gets forced. Didgeridoo's way too important. Force pitch Shark Typhoon. Alright, we didn't just naturally draw Didgeridoo, which is a shame because I really wanted it. Grab a basic, and we are going to ponder, basically shuffling most things that aren't Didgeridoo. These cards are great. I'd probably go Fiery Confluence on bottom. Draw Didgeridoo now. A little weird whether or not I play Didgeridoo immediately because of shatter effects. It's like risk Chalice of the Void, which I know my opponent doesn't have in hand right now, or risk Abrade. I think I'm going to risk Abrade and play this fetch land. Okay, do I want the Fiery Confluence that is currently on top of my deck, given that my opponent has no creatures? I think not. I'm just going to go ahead and fetch. Pick up a Tundra here. Alright, good stuff. I'll play a land drop, pass the turn. Then end of turn, I'll probably put in the Moraug and then go to town. I might change my mind if my opponent plays a creature that can attack this turn, which they didn't. Alright, yeah, you can have that. Activate, put in Moraug, and go to combat, declare attacks, attack for 7, put my opponent to 7. I will go ahead and brainstorm now. Yeah, I don't need Ancient Tomb mana here, I don't think. Put back 1 and 2. Make a land drop. Get another combat. Now attack for 8, and hey, wouldn't you know it, Didgeridoo it. Today's video is sponsored by Cardsphere.com. Cardsphere is a service that allows you to buy, sell, and most importantly, trade your Magic cards with other people and game stores from around the world. As you can see here, they are doing a lot of business. They only take a very small fee, 3%, and if you decide you want cash instead of cards, you can also get paid out via PayPal for a small cut. P.S. They also have articles, so please consider checking them out. Alright. Again, I think this is one of these hands that is like perfectly reasonable that I'm just going to mulligan. This doesn't have a real plan. Not a fast one anyway. You're 5 mana? 5 mana. So I can keep this card and use 2 Ponders to look for a Didgeridoo. The issue is that if Arkan is playing some big cheaty deck, I'm just gonna be dead. I don't know that I want to go to 5 here though. I'm gonna pitch the Chrome Mox and pretend to have the strength of a blue deck. And this Ponder is gonna find Didgeridoo Ancient Tomb. No. I'm gonna just shuffle that. Okay. Standstill's not crazy. Chalice is fine here. I'm slamming a Standstill, baby. Take your time. Think off of Volk. And we'll just kind of see what's going on over there. Hopefully with a draw 3, I can find something cool to do. I basically want an Urza. Oh shit, it's that kind of Chalice deck. Pitching Narset. Okay, so I know what my opponent's probably playing now. Arkan is probably playing the, like, Hull Breach or Days Undoing Stompy deck list. Which means me casting these fucking cantrips is brutal. Okay, that helps a lot. But that is a thing. Alright. Believe we're in trouble, folks. I'm gonna force so that I don't just eat a draw 7. And now I'm working towards hard casting this stuff. My standstills. F. Double F. Okay. Folks, we lost this one. I'm gonna stay in the game for more information, but I don't think I can win from here realistically. Yeah, that's a liquid metal coating. I don't think I need to stay in the game anymore. I'm gonna concede. This is not happening. Okay, so I definitely want to go fast. We want to be Didgeridooing it. The Pyroblasts are really awkward because they're like so great versus half of my opponent's deck, and then there's like the colorless Chalice of the Void side. I don't think I get to Standstill. I think I keep Pithing Needle. And it's a little harder from there. Because like there's some 1-drops that I can board in that are just awkward. I think I'm gonna play Force of Negations for combo finishes and Planeswalkers. Dark Typhoon feels kind of slow. I think I want these. like, there's some ancillary stuff that I can consider as well. I basically can't touch my Minotaurs, and I probably have to leave some number of other blue cards for the force effects. I don't think I'm going to go deeper on colorless cards in this, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Yes. Hell yeah. This is unfortunately legendary, but, like, you can't have it all. Let's grab a basic. I don't think that's likely to matter, but I've been wrong before. Didgeridoo it! Yeah, that's another indicator of the, like, desire to just turbo your way to Old Reacher Days Undoing. Yeah, that's happening. I'm not brainstorming this turn. I'm just making a Minotaur. A Minotaur and a half. Okay, there's another one. Doot doot. Put in Sethron. Make an extra critter. The extra ability is, ooh, +1 in Menace and Haste. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just play this land drop preemptively, actually. Probably this land drop preemptively. Crash in for 6. Opponent goes to 14, and then they're gonna end of turn like Hull Breacher me. Oh. Yes. 4 mana. I don't super care about that card, but I don't want my opponent to have both pieces and then dig. I think I will just force here. Like, I don't want them to be able to dig towards a force to protect their combo. Now, I believe I get 2 Minotaurs from this. I believe. Keep the untapped one. Yes, I do get 2 Minotaurs. There is a Ponder. Menace is really good here. I am just going to Ponder now. Oh, I can Ponder post-combat. I think I just play the land out first, though. Alright. Crash in. After no blocks. Activate that ability. And that brings my opponent exactly to 0. Didgeridoo it. Do I want anything different when I'm on the draw? For example, do I want something that can help me deal with Urza Saga Construct tokens? I have 1 Otawara as an out to an Ensnaring Bridge. Maybe on the draw I need a second out. Could see that. Let's just bin a Currency Converter. That card's very bad versus a fast Karn. I think I just auto-mulligan this hand. Like, I don't want to spend time cantripping in this matchup. Sure don't love it. I don't think I want to mulligan deeper than this innately, though. See what awful things my opponent tries to do to me. Okay. I will force that. Note, I am intentionally using Force of Will versus Force of Negation there. That is not an error on my end. Karn is the card in this matchup. I believe that I would like to cast that Ponder, as awkward as that is. I need to be looking for a way to win. That is a way to win. Urza Saga is going 3 down. I draw the Didgeridoo next turn. I'll put Otawara to hand. No shuffle. It means the Force of Will is awkward, but, like, I have the card that I intend on winning the game with. How dare you? How dare you? So Didgeridoo, now real bad as a draw. I think that Karn is just going to solo me. I think my opponent just gets to 6 mana. Artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. Like, this becomes the plan. But I'll still go ahead and play it. Sure can't be activated right now. Ooh. Uh-huh. That's a liquid metal coating, which is resolving. I think with Urza Saga and liquid metal coating going, I'm not going to get to Otawara amounts of mana. I'm comfortable conceding here. We're a little bit soft to Karn. Alright, I've kept my opening hand here. I've got Didgeridoo and 2 Minotaurs, which is a great place to be. I don't have the Ancient Tomb that I otherwise might like, but I really love having 2 copies of Didgeridoo. That way, if the first one gets countered or gets eaten by, say, a Prismatic Ending, I'm just okay. That's very fun. Ooh. Are we doing Elves stuff? Are we doing Mavericky stuff? Cloud Post stuff? Oh. Initiative stuff. Let's draw Boros Battle Shaper. Huh? Magus? Magus, sure. Oh, just turn 1 Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Absolutely fuck me. That is going to have 5 toughness. It can trade with a Neheb. Okay, that's bad. Oh, wow, my opponent has 4. Oh, shit, my opponent has Forest. They've got Undermountain Adventurer in there. Alright, the good news is I drew Boros Battle Shaper. I'm going to drop another Didgeridoo in case my opponent has something random that takes one out. And I'll pass the turn. Boros Battle Shaper can absolutely take over this game if my opponent doesn't just have infinite initiative creatures over there. Alright. Forged up. Don't look, YouTube. This is gonna hurt. Fury is in the exile zone. Alright, I'm at 12. I need another creature not to come down this turn. Fuck. Okay. Alright, yep. We know this one. I played with this one already. So I get trapped down to 7, fetched down to 6. Fuck, again? Oh, okay, that's fine. I already got the Didgeridoo in play. We're okay on that front. Grab a Volk, leave the basics in there in case I do end up taking the initiative. I will play an Urza Saga. I will pass the turn. Opponent archives, draws a card. Oh, here's more. I love my opponent's deck. It's absolutely my shit. Okay. Okay. That is a turn 3 completed dungeon. Yeah, Elvish Spirit Guides are in there too. Yeah, I love this. Alright. Folks, I think I'm dead. Like, I stop one of these from attacking. This can't attack, but then next turn, like, I stop that from attacking. All these can still attack. This is a 5/5. Especially considering another Forge and Trap are coming. I think I'm going to concede now and hide information. So I'd like a few things to fight against these creatures. I don't think my standstills are reasonable versus initiative. Spellbomb's not crazy. Shadow Spear is probably necessary. Currency Converter probably slow. Probably need Force of Negation just to keep my Force of Will count higher. Do like 2 Fury here. Oh, I don't need Pithing Needle. Alright, was doing a little bit of banter with the opponent talking about the deck. I want to be faster than this, I'm not gonna lie to you. Doot doot. Keep this pitch Aether Spellbomb. Drawing any... yeah. Pitch Spellbomb. Then drawing any land or any colored spell will give me a turn 2 Boros Battle Shaper. I'm not expecting Wasteland. A Blood Moon could happen, though, so let's just do this and call it a turn. Yeah, but, like, Boros Battle Shaper is what I want to do against any sort of, air quotes, aggro deck. Oh, also, like, Card Sphere. Looks like you got some bonus free advertising. I don't mind. However, you don't get it for the full video. Wait, unless this is actually my Card Sphere video. I started recording this yesterday, then I stopped. Alright, Card Sphere, just in case this is my Tuesday video, you get this. Actually, I think this is my Tuesday video. You know what? Ignore everything I've said for the last minute. Okay. Promox. Imprint Neheb. Promox. Imprint Boros Battle Shaper. We are all in on this Minotaur Soldier Boy. As an aside, buying a house takes a lot of mental energy. Talk about that more once the ink is dry on paperwork, but it looks like I'm doing that. Alright, there's a Spirit Guide into a Caves of Chaos Adventurer. But guess what? ThrabenU is going to be taking the initiative. Alright, Mountain is the get. Activate Didgeridoo. Put in Boros Battle Shaper. Land is not what I want. Must attack or block. No, I don't want that. Not attack or block. I do want that. Get in there, bud. I will take the initiative. That'll just get me another basic. I'll drop that basic, pass the turn. Once I forge, I will have a larger creature that can survive combat. Alright, so we go to combat. Must attack or block. Nobody. Cannot attack or block. Caves of Chaos Adventurer. This is sweet. Minotaur is historically known for preying on D&D parties, of course. Alright, there's another land drop. Fable's good, but I don't think my opponent's going to not like that quite as much as they thought they might. Forge. Come dummy thick. So thick. Must block. Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Cannot block. Goblin Shaman. Get in there. Just force my opponent into the abyss here. I'm fine letting my opponent that I don't know how to... Don't like... I'm fine playing a land drop. My opponent can loot here, and the looting is very important. Wow, no loot. Must attack. Nobody. Cannot attack. Goblin Shaman. What's the follow-up play? New land drop. Ooh, I like this art. Ooh, an Ancient Tomb Shock. 6? Hold on. Hold on, I'm scared. Okay. That at least gives my opponent the initiative back. So they will forge. Yeah, they're going to forge the token. That's fine. Ooh. Okay. This can be a mountain. I'm fine with that. I still have all my colors. Alright. I don't want that land. This is now getting awkward, right? No, it's not. I just say cannot block to Caves of Chaos Adventurer. I can still successfully attack. Must block on Goblin Shaman token. Must block here. Not block here. Swing in. Not gonna take the initiative this way. Land drop. Really needed a follow-up Minotaur. Alright, I get drained. This is good. I think I force Magus of the Moon to attack this turn. Must attack. Nobody has to block. Or actually, I could do that on Caves. Well, actually, I kind of want them to attack with it, right? Like, I want them to attack with it. I want them to make that error and then leave me with one thing to bash in for 7. Yeah. I think that's my play. A little weirder if they have another follow-up creature. Yeah, see, like, now my opponent feels like it's a trap to attack. Oh, okay, they are attacking. Alright, oh, the fuck, they found a Spirit Guide. That's a blocker. Didn't want that. But, like, I wanted to have the potential to just invalidate one blocker and stop things. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Hello. Hello. Hello, Honorary Minotaur Fury. Yeah, so that kills both those. I crash in for 7, trap my opponent for lethal. That was a beautiful draw. Ooh. I don't believe that I won that game after, like, I think mulliganing and then double chrome boxing to put one Minotaur in. I'm kind of looking at Fiery Confluence here as a way to sweep the board of these smaller creatures. Tokens from Fable, the Fable itself, once it flips, it means Spirit Guide if we get into those desperate situations. I don't think I've activated an Urza Saga this league. I know I haven't cycled this Shark Typhoon. Bouncing my opponent's creatures that have the word initiative on them is really awkward. I think I'm going to do this despite the fact that I'm on the draw. It also just gets me one more card in the deck that I can put under a Chrome Mox. Double Urza Saga hand is really awkward versus a Magus of the Moon deck. I put a Boros Battle Shaper into play on turn 3. I can be so dead by turn 3. Nope. Yes. Put back one Didgeridoo. And I really hope that I do not have to cast Force of Negation on a Chalice of the Void on turn 1. That is a Spirit Guide. How bad is this? 4 mana. Oh, fuck. Okay. I do not believe Boros Battle Shaper on turn 2 beats that. My opponent just pluses a hamster a couple of times and then throws it at my Boros Battle Shaper. That is a Force of Negation Pitching Ponder, which leaves me without something to imprint on Chrome Mox reasonably. Okay, I found something to reasonably imprint on a Chrome Mox if I have to. I am just going to play Didgeridoo and pass the turn without playing Chrome Mox, because if I draw Ancient Tomb, I don't have to give up a Boros Battle Shaper. Ooh, my opponent was all in on Minsc and Boo. Unfortunately, I'm a little stuck here. Gonna have to pass the turn. I don't think I imprint yet. Yeah, that was awkward. Legacy. Format of the most powerful cards ever printed. Here we are. Playing Drago. Alright. Yeah, that's a yikes. I'm gonna pass the turn. Okay. There's another Didgeridoo. I guess I cast that. Pass the turn. Okay. My opponent found a thing first. There's a Magus under there. 4 mana. Okay, it is only a Blood Boil Sorcerer, so like it could have been so much worse. I just need to draw any land here. Any land here. I'll pass. I don't think I need to tell you that this is bad. I also don't think I need to tell you that if I do get Boros Battleshaper into play, I will just win this game through a single initiative creature. Will I win it through more than one, though? Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't do anything. Ooh, my opponent still has both their colors through that. That's lucky. I just want to make a Minotaur. I don't know that I win anymore. This is 12 damage here. I will lose to one more card from my opponent. I think I am dead. Yeah, that's a Minsc and Boo. I don't have a blue card. F. I mean, they live, so it goes. GG's. Land? No. 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 Oh, man. It wasn't happening. Alright, opponent's a fan of the channel. I'm just going to mulligan this hand. Oh. Oh. I do have to go to 5 here, unfortunately. Okay, I'm keeping this hand. I believe this is an Urza Saga hand that happens to have some Didgeridoos in it. Boy, I am gonna need to draw a land. Like, as long as I draw a land, I can play a reasonable Urza Saga game. Fuck. Alright, well, hopefully we're the better Urza Saga deck. Has a Force of Will. I believe my play is to Chrome Mox, imprint Force of Will, use Force of Will to cast Ponder prior to making a land drop, and use this to sculpt my game, and decide whether or not I'm playing Didgeridoo or Urza Saga as the plan. Urza Saga becomes the plan. Alright. 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 Yep. All in, baby. I will not shuffle. I will play another Chrome Mox. No imprint. Play Urza Saga. Ask Didgeridoo. We've got a good number of artifacts. Hopefully this does something meaningful. Okay. A Thrun. Okay. My opponent can also make construct tokens. There's a Tundra. I'll pass the turn. Sure. My opponent's gonna do have the chance to fetch a Pithing Needle, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do mine now. That way I don't have to do it in response to something else that they do. So they get a 2/2. They could find like a Retrofitter Foundry. Getting messages. Oh, nice. I have the deck list my opponent was playing in the previous round. That gets to hang out on the other screen for a little while. Ooh, alright. Sorry, my opponent played a Forest and a Luxior, so they're playing my Green Stompy deck list. Good to know. Ground is gonna go fast. I guess I Pithing Needle that. Alright. I'll drop this. We'll play another Didgeridoo, which puts this up to a 7, meaning that I can successfully attack in to my opponent's creatures. Alright, they're at 9. However, I am terrified of the creatures that my opponent can drop, because, like, I know what they are. They're massive. I kind of have to hope that me being on the play here leaves me with enough of an advantage. Green Sun for 2? You have an Ooh? No, you have a Devoted Druid. Yeah, Devoted Druid's fine. Chrome Mox, though, growing the constructs is scarier than anything else. Okay. Combat. Send them. So a double block is not as good as it looks for my opponent here. So how this is going to work is I'm going to deal 4 damage to 1, 3 damage to 1. The first one gets killed, and then the second one dies afterwards because it has 3 damage marked on it, and it becomes a 3/3. So I'm in a good position, but again, my opponent can start jamming Thrun and Carnage Tyrant-sized things, which would be a huge problem. Alright, there's a Thrun under there. There's a Devoted Druid. Well, we definitely have stopped infinite mana this game. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, so I can't do anything cool with this turn. But it probably gets me a kill next turn. Alright, there's the Chomp. Pass. Oh, that's a Spirit Guide. How bad is this? Probably Carnage Tyrant. It's Carnage Tyrant. End of turn, I will Didgeridoo. Puts in Sethron, making a friend, and that will leave me with lethal through Carnage Tyrant. Yeah, so I will go ahead and just activate that, buff the team, send him on in, and my opponent takes it to the face like a champ. Okay. Force effects sound real bad. Spell bombs are good. Fury's kind of nice. Fiery Confluence has text. Grafdigger's Cage is fine versus Green Sun. Shadow Spear is reasonable here. Don't want these. Don't want these. Standstill's awkward versus my opponent's Urza Saga. Opponent's random probe blue stuff is kind of rough for Shark Typhoon. The slow card in the first place. I think I'm going to get rid of the Pithing Needle despite the fact that I pulled it out to stop an infinite mana combo this game. I still almost want to keep Force of Will and Force of Will Moxen. I'm not going to lie to you. I think I like this. I think that means Currency Converter goes, and I think the Standstills go. This leaves me a little light on blue count for Force of Will, but not like that card's going to be crazy good anyway. This hand is kind of whatever. I think I'm just going to mulligan this trying to find a Didgeridoo hand. I would keep that on a 6. I think I'm keeping it. My opponent's going to 5. I think I just keep this. Pitch 1 Force of Will. And believe in blue cantrips to do blue cantrip things. Oh man, my opponent's going to 4. I'm going to Force of Will the shit out of a Chrome Mox. Forest? Pass. That's fine. Fury. I'm going to cast a Chrome Mox here. I'm going to imprint a Brainstorm. I'm going to cast a Brainstorm, rationalizing that I will find something reasonable here. Fury is going to go back. A land is going to go back. I will take that land next turn. I will make my land drop. Play a Didgeridoo. I have Force of Will for a lot of the things that my opponent can do. Okay, that's fine. Do I care? Stop Sethron. I don't have Sethron. I have Boros Battle Shaper. I don't think I care. My opponent, like, pivots and dreadnoughts me. Like, they deserve it. Scalding Tarn. Fetch. Cup of Valk. Last turn with Boros Battle Shaper available at instant speed. Okay, so my opponent can make Urza Saga tokens, but I think I will easily beat that. I mean, I hope I easily beat that. Like, it's the plan. Neheb is very reasonable. This is just when it does, right? Yeah. Alright, I don't need must attack or block. I don't need cannot attack or block. Send in 5. Opponent goes to 15. Next turn I'm attacking for 10, so my opponent is dead in 2 turns. And I do have the ability to just manipulate combat very well. I do need to respond to this in case Pithing Needle gets involved. You can have your thing. I will make a new critter. It's Neheb. I can now force this construct to attack into Neheb. If I want, although I think this construct's going to be a 4/4. There is a Shadow Spear. Sure. I just make it attack? I'll probably just make it attack. You know what? You can't attack or block. Yeah, and I'm just going to take the damage here. Just be good with that. This is optional, right? Yeah, this is a you may. Oh, Urza Saga's good. I think I just ponder and intend on putting in a new Minotaur most of the time. Probably looting away the Force of Will. Oh my god. Yes. So I want to do this like 1, 2, 3, no shuffle, draw Didgeridoo, attack, loot through 3. Nobody must attack or block. You cannot attack or block. Alright. I will attack in. This hits my opponent for 10. I will now loot through all of these cards. Activate Didgeridoo. Using this mana that doesn't empty. Put in Moraug. Play Scalding Tarn. Get an additional combat phase. Oh my god. Nobody must attack or block. You double can't attack. You know what? No, you can't attack or block. Alright. And then send in for an additional 14 damage. What a thing of beauty, folks. I believe we're 3-1. Yeah. Or no, sorry, we're 2-2. But it feels like 3-1 in my heart. This deck is very fun. My friendly neighborhood mimic here would like to thank Jacob T, Karen W, and Cthulhusaurus Rex for recently becoming patrons, as well as Black Sunny Zenith, Thana, Fabian, and Merrick S for doing donations that directly support me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm feeling the love. It means the world. All right, back to the magic. All right. I've got kind of a tough hand here. If my opponent doesn't play a threat on turn 1, a standstill-based hand is probably okay, but if they do just play a turn 1 threat, I can't play standstill, and then I have nothing going on with the rest of this hand. Island Ponder Mulligan, that's the phrase, right? What about this one? Romox, Imprint, Sethron, or Brainstorm play another land. Go in on Urza Saga. I like this better than the first hand. Probably pitch Otawara here. I think I'm really awkward Chromox. I think I keep the Minotaur, given that Urza Saga can find me a Didgeridoo. And apologies, it seems like someone immediately after I started recording started hammering outside. With any luck, I will be in a house next month, and that won't happen again. Alright, Arn is not Wasteland. Is great for me. Let's drop a land past the turn. Oh man, imagine if my opponent just cast Show and Tell and I put in Boros Battle Shaper. An absolute flex that would be. By the way, it's like a full day later from when I recorded the previous round. Ooh, scary. That's like Storm and Doomsday vibes. Alright, there's a fetch land to clear. Thought Season me. Are you Dark Ritualing? What are we doing? Oh, we're just passing the turn. That is fantastic for me. I get to start doing some damage directly to life totals here. I think I just make the Construct here. Construct gives me more immediate damage this turn. And I'm expecting a pair of 4/4s will be enough to just go and win this. He'll take Didgeridoo, question mark? Needle's uses are so niche here. I think I'll still take the Didgeridoo. Make a land drop. Crash in for 4. That puts my opponent to 14. If they half their life total with a Doomsday, like they die to the attack. So what's up? If this is a Storm deck, Ad Naus. Okay. Bill could be going either way. Alright, it is Doomsday. My opponent has to win this turn. Okay, Doomsday has resolved. Let's see if we're dead. Okay, we are not immediately dead. So opponent must have some sort of fatal push type. Okay, sure. Alright, so what do I have for Doomsday? Force of Negations are fine. Pyroblasts are but I'll probably play them. Don't really think Aether Spellbomb is good enough. Not interested in trying to go after a Threshold with any sort of graveyard hate. Fiery Confluence to just descend at my opponent's dome is probably good. My opponent split their fetches very well, so it's not like they have 4 Polluted Deltas, so like Pithing Needle on Polluted Delta is really weak, and it's not like Pithing Needle on Street Wraith is insane either. Probably gonna go Currency Converter out. I'm not like the most interested in the standstills, but I am very interested in my blue count. I just like always have to play those to just have reasonable game here. And then like these last 3 cards are kind of something that I have to think about. I can't cut any blue cards. I don't think I cut Didgeridoos. They still just let me go fast. Like I'd rather Urza Saga kill, but Didgeridoo is my primary way to win. Boros Battle Shaper is my worst threat. I wouldn't mind going down one of those. Could go down a Standstill pretty comfortably, I think. Because I don't think I'm willing to go lower on Minotaurs than just this. Actually, I probably should have cut a Shark Typhoon over a Standstill. I don't really like the look of this hand. I don't want to play fair under Red Elemental Blast stuff versus this deck. I want to do something objectively powerful and fast. This looks like garbage. We're gonna go to 5. On 5, I probably keep this. I'm just not happy about it. Throw back Tundra. I throw back Chrome Mox. And I just hope that I draw like an Urza Saga or something to have the relevant interaction that I need. For us is rough here. I've lost the Brainstorm. I've spiked a new blue card, which is fantastic. I will be playing Standstill if it makes it back to my turn. That's a shuffle there. And that's all fine. That's a shuffle there. Battle's fine. Minotaur is a-okay. That's something that I can just cast in the not too distant future. Actually, I probably don't cast that, right? I just cast a Minotaur next turn to have a Minotaur back by Force of Will, and then cast Standstill after that. Yeah, I think I want the threat down without an Urza Saga. I shouldn't have fetched. Alright, there's another land drop from my opponent. We chillin'? We're chillin'. Alright. I get red for my Minotaur here. Force pitching a Thassa's Oracle. Do I force back? I'll force back. I think I just need this threat in play. I just kind of hope that my opponent's last card isn't Doomsday. But like the idea of attacking my opponent for 5, drawing a land, playing this, and then attacking them for damn near lethal is just so nice. Alright, opponent is heavy on land here. Okay, there is my land. I can play that and discard it, and then like get another card and still be able to cast my card. I think I would like to do that. Alright, 5 incoming. And trigger, I will discard Flooded Strand. I've picked up a new land. I'll play that to play around Daze. Drop a new Minotaur. Pass the turn, Doomsday lines are off. My opponent has to win in a single turn. Watery Grave. Presumably just as 5th Underground Sea. But maybe there's some spicy Death Shadow nonsense in there or something. This is my opponent's turn. They have to either interact with one of my creatures or win. We take that. We absolutely take that. Alrighty, that brings us to the end of the league here with a 3-2 finish. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I love the Didgeridoo Urza Saga side of the deck list. I believe I pitched Standstill to Force of Will or threw it back to Mulligan Decisions most of the time. Maybe this is just my play patterns, but I was just feeling like these Didgeridoo hands were just so incredibly strong and goldfished so quickly. And the same was true of the Urza Saga hands, that I didn't really want to drag the game on, and like maybe I could have won the same number or more games like leaning into the Standstill role, but I didn't want to take turns off to like Ponder and Brainstorm. I just wanted to Didgeridoo. And this is one of those times where I'm not sure, like, am I playing the deck optimally by making the mulligan decisions that I am, or am I trying to force the game into the play pattern that I think is correct, not accepting that other things might be better than I am giving them credit for. So I think if I were to play this again, I would want to explore eliminating this portion of the deck list and leaning in some other direction. I still really like the Force of Will, because like the Force of Will protecting that first Didgeridoo or stopping the first Swords to Plowshares on a major creature is so important. So like I would absolutely be willing to entertain keeping this in blue, but I don't know that it needs to be Hornstill. I think you can just build a Didgeridoo deck with Force of Wills and some extra blue cards of some kind. I don't know exactly what those are supposed to be, but throw your ideas in the comments. I would love to hear them. I liked the sideboard stuff that I had access to today, and I hope you all enjoyed watching. If you did, click the like button on the way out, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. See ya!